This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream will... Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video on my own personal YouTube channel. Thank you very much for taking time to join me on this channel again. It is very much appreciated. Right, what I'm going to do today for you ahead of the week of the Irish 1000 and the 2000 Guineas and the Japanese Oaks. We have the Preakness the last coming weekend. We don't really want to get too far behind in reviewing these classics. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to try and get a classic review video done today. We're going to pick up pretty much from where we left off in Australia and Japan last time in the first week of May. What I'm going to do is we're going to show you 6 classics today. I think that's right, is it, in this video? Yes, it is. We're going to show you the Kentucky Derby and Oaks as we begin on the Classic Trail in the USA in 2025. We're also going to show you the UK 1000 and 2000 Guineas, again, as the Classic Watch 25 gets underway in the UK. And then we're going to take you a week forward and take a look at the French 1000 and 2000 Guineas as well, as Classic Watch 25 gets underway in France. And then we will start the video with the Preakness, the next review that we get round to doing. The Preakness, of course, was taking place last weekend. But before we start taking a look at the races and the Classic Watch 25 participants in them, where can people find these horses? ClassicWatch25.great/site.net is where people are able to find these horses. It's fairly straightforward. It's just a matter of clicking on the tabs of where your horse is trained. You've got Japan, USA, UK, Ireland, France as well. Got 6, I think. We're hoping maybe to get a couple of Germans on the site at some point. The record of honor, the Roll of Honour doesn't really include many classics, just the one taken out by the Identified After the Race Museum Mile, the Japanese 2000 Guineas. That horse is also on the site now ahead of a possible tilt at the Japanese Derby. But what I basically do is I put the races on that the horses have entered in, what they've won, and then throughout the season I do try and update it. But to be fair, while I'm still identifying horses this early in the season, I don't think there will be much updating done. Maybe until normally I start updating when the 3-year-olds start racing the older horses in races like the Eclipse and the Judgmont and races like that. Because as it stands at the minute, we've got a 2-year-old only pattern race list and a 3-year-old only pattern race list. So hopefully as we go through the season, more horses will be added to these articles. The Roll of Honour will obviously expand. Hopefully the horses identified as well will be good enough to take out a few classics. So the website again, classicwatch25.great/site.net. Right, without further ado, I think we can get started now. We're going to take a look at the first classic of the video, and that was ran on Friday night. I think it was either May the 2nd or May the 3rd. And the race was held at Churchill Downs, USA. We're going to take a look first in this video at the Kentucky Oaks. Classic Watch 25, I think, had 3 entries in the Kentucky Oaks. We had a Good Cheer. Quiet Side was another one that we had identified, as well as the Bob Baffert's trained Tenma. They were the 3 fillies that took their chance in the race. So without further ado, I think we can watch this race now, the Kentucky Oaks, and then see what we make of it at the end.
They're in the gates, and they're off in the Kentucky Oaks. And it was a good start, too. Tenma racing for the lead, and Lucara sent hard out of there. And its promises showing speed. Simply Joking down toward the inside, backs off that early pace. Quiet Side tries to tuck in down toward the rail as they hit the first turn. Lucara, Tenma going head-to-head for the lead. Lucara's down inside with a narrow lead. There's 7 furlongs to go. Tenma's pressing from second. And its promise just off the pace, racing third. Simply Joking reserved at the inside fourth. fourth. Quiet Side on the far outside is fifth. Fondly is down inside sixth. Early on in between seventh. Good Cheer is right at mid-pack. She's eighth. 3 wide, 5 lengths off the lead down the backstretch run. Bless the Broken is running along at ninth. Ballerina Doro's in some traffic, racing 10th. Quick Kick, farther closer to the pace today, down toward the inside, running third to last. Then it's Take Charge Milady. Drexel Hills at the back. Drexel Hills 10 lengths off the lead after a half mile and a solid 46 and 3/5 seconds. They're on the far turn. Lakara's the leader. Tenma's pressing hard. Tenma's just a neck behind with 3 furlongs to go. Quick Kick is wide but starting to move up, and Good Cheer is rallying now. Here comes Good Cheer on the far outside. She's coming on 5 or 6 wide. She's under a drive as they hit the top of the stretch. Lakara heads for home in front. Tenuous lead. Tenma trying to get by. Good Cheer continues a sustained rally, and Bless the Broken is coming, and Drexel Hill is too. There's a 16th to catch Good Cheer. She's clear by 2.5. Drexel Hill runs up into second. Bless the Broken is third, but she's the toast of Kentucky. Good Cheer wins the Oaks by nearly 3. Drexel Hill was second, Bless the Broken was third, and Tenma was fourth.
Well, what can people say about the performance there of Good Cheer? I personally thought that was an absolutely stupendous performance from the Classic Watch 25 Possible Good Cheer to take out the first Classic in this review video. Brilliant performance. She stormed home in the straight. No filly could go with her, really. Dominant, totally dominant performance by the Brad Cox trained Good Cheer, sired by Medaglia Doro out of a dam called Wedding Toast, trained by Brad Cox and ridden on the day by Luis Saez. Good Cheer taking out the Kentucky Oaks, running to a Racing Post rating of 117. In fourth place there was the Bob Baffert's trained Tenma, ridden by Juan Hernandez, sired by Nyquist out of Amagansett, who herself was sired by Tappet. Tenma was beaten 6 1/4 lengths overall, finishing fourth, running to a Racing Post rating of 100. In sixth place, beaten 11 1/4 lengths overall, was Quiet Side, trained by John Alexander Ortiz, ridden by Jose L. Ortiz, sired by Malibu Moon out of a dam called Benner Island, who herself was sired by Spitestown. That 11 1/4 length defeat overall resulted in Quiet Side on the day being rated 91. Very interesting race, I thought it was. A 1-4-6 for Classic Watch 25 in the Kentucky Oaks. The site off to a fantastic start, it's fair to say. Let's take a look at the horses. Good Cheer, you'll see there, only improved by 1. It took 116 to win the Fairground Oaks. According to the Racing Post, 117 to win the Kentucky Oaks. What a filly. 7 runs, 7 victories. A typical Newman horse, it's fair to say. Doesn't like losing and is beautifully bred. You know, fantastic performance, and all credit to Connections. Tenma, you'll see there, she actually ran to 113 when winning the Santa Anita Oaks, the Grade 2, back in April. So that 1 of 100 is probably one of the worst of her career. That's why I think this race is rated wrongly. I think what they should have done is they should have rated Good Cheer higher and put Tenma up another 7 or 8. She was well beaten on the day, but there's no way she's run a stone worse than her best, is there? Really? To finish fourth in the Kentucky Oaks. Just a flawed rating by the Racing Post. And then in sixth place, Quiet Side, you'll see another one. Quiet Side actually ran to marks of 110 and 111 when winning the Group 3 Honeybee Stakes and the Group 2 Fantasy Stakes in Crook Park. And again, they've got her running 20 lower, beaten 11.5 lengths in a Classic, finishing sixth. So they've either rated the 2 trials too high or this race too low. What else could they have done? There's no way that finishing the sixth in a Classic takes a horse £20 lower, is there? I don't think there is anyway. But it is what it is, unfortunately, for Quietside, managing to finish in 6th place. Right, we're going to skip forward a day now, and we're also going to change continents. We're going to head to Newmarket in the UK and take a look at some colts now. In the UK, 2,000 guineas over 1 mile at Newmarket. The colts race ran on the Saturday and the fillies race ran on the Sunday. Again, we were quite well represented in this Classic Watch 25. There's been some good trial winners this year. We had Ruling Court, Field of Gold, Shadow of Light, Scorthy Champ, the National Stakes winner. We had Field of Gold, the impressive Craven winner, Ruling Court, who won in Dubai, Shadow of Light, the best 2-year-old in the UK, and Scorthy Champ, the National Stakes winning 2-year-old from Ireland. It's fair to say that before this race, I thought that Classic Watch 25 had a very strong hand headed in to the UK 2,000 guineas. So let's watch the race and see what happens, shall we?
And they're off. Over 1 mile for the Group 1 Betfred 2,000 guineas in the 217th running of the Classic. And Tornado Alert is keen early on, the royal blue with the red cap, and will show the way after the end of the opening furlong. From Scorthy Champ and the blue and white stripes of Seagulls 11 is handy in third. Expanded over toward the far side in blue and orange. Between the pair of those is Wimbledon Hawkeye. Another length back to Green Impact. Then to the far side is Shadow of Light. Benevento's next in the violet silks. The white cap is Ruling Court. Field of Gold has been held up towards the back of the field. And last of all is Yamo B there. It's Tornado Alert that will lead them towards halfway. Shows by a half a length only to Scorthy Champ. Seagulls 11 remains handy just in behind them. Together there with Green Impact and Wimbledon Hawkeye. Expanded over toward the far side. Then Benevento and Ruling Court more near side the white cap. Shadow of Light is still being held up toward the far side, and so too Field of Gold, who is in behind runners at this point. Yamo B there is still the back marker. On they go then towards the final 2.5 furlongs. Tornado Alert joined by Seagulls 11, Green Impact. Near side here comes Ruling Court. Field of Gold is cruising up in behind the grey. Now he's asked to try and lengthen. Racing towards the final furlong and a half. Shadow of Light the far side, joined near side by Ruling Court. Then Green Impact. Field of Gold is trying to stay on near side. Then came Green Impact back in fourth. It's Shadow of Light together with Ruling Court. These two battling away. Field of Gold is staying on late. It's Ruling Court just in front. Ruling Court's won the 2,000 guineas from Field of Gold. Then Shadow of Light clear from Tornado Alert, Wimbledon Hawkeye and Green Impact.
Well. We've done it again. Classic Watch 25 has done it again. 2 classics, 2 victories so far in this video. What a performance by my good self. Newmarket, we'll see there, Ruling Court. Took the race out. Such an impressive horse he was at Meydan. And the pedigree was there. Beaten by the Lion in Winter, it has to be said. So whether the best 3-year-olds have turned up in here is another matter. Ruling Court, the horse sired by Justify, the second consecutive classic win for Justify in the UK. The horse sired by Justify out of In Charge of Me. That, of course, after City of Troy last year. In Charge of Me herself was sired by High Chaparral, trained by Charlie Appleby, ridden by William Buick, and owned by Godolphin, but not bred by Godolphin. The horse was in fact bred by Nursery Place, Manfuso and Willite, whoever they are. The horse ran well though, racing post rating of 122. We're all getting some proper ratings at this stage early in the season. Second place, Field of Gold, ridden by Kieran Schumark, trained by John and Thady Gosden, sired by Kingman, out of a dam called Princess de Lune, who herself was sired by Shamadal. He ran to a mark of 121. And then third, Shadow of Light, ridden by Mikel Barcelona, trained by Charlie Appleby, sired by Lope de Vega, and out of a dam called Winter's Moon, who herself is out of New Approach. And Shadow of Light ran to a mark of 120. Magnificent performance by me. 1-2-3 in the UK 2,000 guineas to follow up the 1-3-6 we had in the Kentucky, 1-4-6, in the Kentucky Oaks. The other winner we had, Scorthy Champ, unfortunately could only finish 7th, trained by Joseph Patrick O'Brien and ridden by Dylan Brown Monegal, sired by Memas out of Fidaha, who herself was sired by New Approach. Scorthy Champ was beaten 7.5 lengths and ran to a mark of 105 when finishing in 7th. So what's happened there pretty much, we've identified 4 horses that have run to run in the classics and none of them have finished worse than 7th. Again, I am very good. There's sometimes it's not stating the obvious. People, it's just that these pointed out in these videos that not many people are capable of doing what's happening here. Let's take a look at the 4 runners before we move on to the next classic, Ruling Court. Well, what can you say about this? 97, 106, 113, 122. The horse definitely still very much heading in the right direction. And who knows what rating the horse is going to peak at. Field of Gold again. It looked like he'd hit a bit of a brick wall at 2, 107 twice. But the 3-year-old, 117 and 121. This horse has definitely improved from 2 to 3. Field of Gold, the Kingman sired colt. Is he good enough to land a classic? Very interesting moving forward throughout the season how well this horse is going to go for the rest of the season. He is now Group 1 placed dual Group 3 winner. Field of Gold. Shadow of Light. Well, no one could knock this horse. This horse actually improved on its 2-year-old form. Again, 2 runs of 117 when beating Whistlejacket by 4 lengths and expanded by a neck. In the 2 Group 1 races at Newmarket at 2, the horse has improved and ran to a mark of 120, finishing 3rd in the UK Guineas, a length behind Ruling Court again. What is this horse going to do for the rest of the season? It will be very interesting to see how the horse goes. Scorthy Champ, the 4th one in the race, ran to a Racing Post rating of 105. His best rating so far was 113, which he gained at 2 when beating Henri Matisse in the National Stakes. I don't think there's any fluke about that. I think Scorthy Champ is better than the 105 he showed at Newmarket, 7th out of 11. And here's another one. It will be very interesting to see how the horse goes for the rest of the season. Scorthy Champ. It's a nice horse. Very nice horse, sired by Memas. So, we were feeling confident. 2 out of 2 heading towards Saturday night and the 3rd of the 6 classics we're going to show you today. We're heading back out to the US of A and Churchill Downs to take a look at the Kentucky Derby for a 3-year-old colt. What do we have? We had 3 running for us. We had Sovereign, Sandman and Tistastic. They were the 3 that we'd put our faith in for this race. Can we make it 3 classics in a row in this video? Let's take a look now at the Kentucky Derby and see what we think, shall we?
They're in the gates. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby, and some crowding down toward the inside. Journalism has a smooth start, but he was shuffled back soon thereafter. Citizen Bull racing right to the lead, and he comes well off the rail. Citizen Bull 5 wide bias the first time. Neo Equos right there in between, racing in second. Owen Almighty on the far outside is third. An American Promise gets a coveted spot, saving ground on inside fourth. Admire Daytona is out of there running in fifth. East Avenue from off the pace in 6. Burnham Squares tethered to the rail with Brian Hernandez. They're running in 7th. Chunk of Gold is 8th. Cole Battle racing mid-pack 9th. Journalism. Umberto Rispoli has him down inside 10th. They're about 10 lengths off the lead as they head to the backstretch run. Flying Mohawk is racing in 11th. Render Judgment on the far outside is 12th. Luxor Cafe is 13th. Publisher is 14th. Baeza 15th. Sovereignty 16th. Tistastic 17th. Sandman is the last of the 19 through a strong Opening half in 46 and 1/5 seconds. Down the backstretch they go here at Churchill Downs. Citizen Bull leads the way to the far turn. Neo Equos trying to keep pace. American Promise tried to split those two. Is coming under a ride. Owen Almighty advances up, grabs third. Owen Almighty's now third round the far turn. Umberto says go with journalism. Journalism rocketing past horses. He's up to fourth on the outside, and Sovereignty's following him. Don't forget Sandman. Final game, it goes to the far outside too. They're off the turn. Here comes journalism. Here comes Sovereignty, and they square off, heading to the final furlong of the Kentucky Derby. Final Gambit and Baeza trying to close in late. Sovereignty has taken the lead. Journalism has to fight back. Journalism has lost the lead to Sovereignty. It's time for the Royal Blue to don some red. Sovereignty wins the Derby.
As he finished, I thought he was going to bang on a bit there. What a fantastic achievement by me. Sovereignty has done it, boys and girls. Three classics shown in the video, 3 victories for my excellent self. I mean, Classic Watch 25, this little site, classicwatch25.great/site.net. I mean, how can people ignore this site? It's absolutely fantastic. It's got all 3 classics and 3 wins. Let's take a look at the final result. Sovereignty, sired by Intermischief out of a dam called Crowned, who herself was sired by Bernardini, trained by William Mott and ridden by Junior Alvarado, has taken out the Kentucky Derby with a Racing Post rating higher than ruling court's Guineas victory of 123. Second place, as we know, was Journalism, beaten fair and square on the day. The best horse definitely won. Journalism, sired by Curlin out of Mopetism, who is Mopetism, I'm going to say that is, who is sired by Uncle Mo. Journalism, trained by Michael McCarthy and ridden by Umberto Rispoli. Racing Post rating of 119. And third was Baeza. Baeza, the relation of last year's Classic Watch horse Dornock, and the year before that, Mage. Baeza, them two sired by Good Magic. This one sired by McKinsey out of Puka, sired by Big Brown. Baeza's trained by John Shirreffs and ridden by Flavian Pratt. Finished third on 118. That could be one that if they could get a win with it before the Belmont and it wins, then that one could definitely get on side. Because Dornock, his half brother, won the Belmont last year. A horse would definitely like to get on side before the Belmont. And the other horses we had running were Sandman. Sandman, sired by Tappet out of Distorted Music. Sandman finished 12.5 lengths behind, trained by Mark Casse, ridden by Jose Luis Ortiz, running to a mark of 97. And then the disappointing on the day, Tistastic, could only finish 10th, sired by Tis the Law out of Keisha, trained by Stephen Asmussen and ridden by Joel Rosario. Racing Post ratings of 97 and 89 for those 2 horses respectively. So we've had a 1, 2, 3. We've had a 1, 3, 1, 4, 6. This time we've had a 1, 7, 10. And then we took out all 3 races. We have the first 3 in one of them, just to keep track. You all need to keep track of what's happening in this video, I think. It's very important to understand what this video is achieving. And Churchill Downs is a thing now. Next season, we'll be back at Churchill Downs, hopefully, in a Classic Watch 26. Let's have a look at our 3 horses. Sovereignty, well, what can you say? The Racing Post, so uncertain of their position in America that when they beat Tistastic, they daren't even rate the race. Both of them turned up in the Derby. I knew they're both good horses. I was strong with my position. When it won the Group 2 and was placed at Gulfstream in the Florida Derby, it started to race the performances then, 115 and 112. But 123 gained for winning the Kentucky Derby, a fantastic rating. And there could Be more to come. I've looked at the pedigree of the horse. Have you? So you need to ask yourselves, is this a fluke? Is this a fluke? Sandman. Again, you looked at his rating there of 116 when the horse took out the Group 1 Arkansas Derby to rate him only 97 for the Kentucky Derby. Unfortunately, was what it was. And Tistastic again, rated 110 when he won the Group 2 Louisiana Derby, and he was only rated 89 for finishing 10th, which, to be fair to the Racing Post, looks in line with most of his other form, doesn't it, at this stage? So that was 3 out of 3. Churchill Downs and the USA done now for this video. We're going to skip a day now and head through to Sunday, and we're going to go back to Newmarket and take a look at the fillies now for the UK 1,000 guineas in this race. Classic Watch 25 only had 2 horses in this race. We had both Godolphin horses running for us. We had Desert Flower and we had El Wateen, who were donning the Classic Watch 25 hopes for the first Fillies Classic of the year in the UK at Newmarket. Let's take a look at this race and see what happens, shall we?
They're set to go. And they're off. Over 1 mile in the Group 1 Betfred 1,000 guineas, the 212th running of the Fillies Classic, and Desert Flower was well into her stride. Duty First is also prominent in the red and white. Chantilly Lace is up with a gallop over toward the far side as they split into 2 groups. So Desert Flower leading over on the far side from Duty First and El Wateen and Chantilly Lace. They're then being followed by Lake Victoria in the blue and orange, with those is Simmering and Hey Boo back marker of the far side group. More near side then is Red Letter. She's racing in company with Ramart, and the back marker of the trio stand side is Flight in light blue and red. It is Desert Flower over on the far side as they approach halfway. Near side Red Letter, Duty First and El Wateen. Then Ramart and Chantilly Lace ahead of Lake Victoria and Flight. Then Simmering and Hey Boo. They're racing now inside the final 3.5 furlongs. It is Desert Flower the small advantage from Red Letter. El Wateen to the far side in blue and white. Duty First is ridden along. So too Chantilly Lace. Lake Victoria being pushed along as well towards the back of that far side group. The final quarter mile now, and it's Desert Flower with the lead. Flight now improving near side. Lake Victoria is also now looking to move up in the blue and orange. El Wateen ridden for more. Desert Flower joined by near-sided Flight. It's Flight now just in front for Desert Flower. Then Red Letter, Lake Victoria and Simmering, followed by El Wateen. Desert Flower coming back at Flight. It's Desert Flower from Flight on the run towards the line. And Desert Flower wins the 1,000 guineas from Flight in second. Simmering third, then El Wateen, Chantilly Lace, Lake Victoria and Red Letter.
Oh my word. Classic Watch 25 has done it again. Boys and girls, 4 classics shown in this video so far. 4 victories. Absolutely sensational, really. What more can I say? 1,000 guineas was won by Desert Flower, sired by Night of Thunder, out of a dam called Promising Run, who herself was sired by Hard Spun, trained by Charlie Appleby and ridden by William Buick, running to a Racing Post rating of 113, which is noticeably lower than what we've seen so far. In second place was Flight, sired by Siuni, out of the dam I actually identified on Reprieve Media CIC Racing. I'd have been sick if this one. Run Wild, who herself was sired by Amaron, trained by Ollie Sangster and ridden by Oisin Murphy. She ran to a Racing Post rating of 110. And in third place, the Al Shakab filly, Simmering, sired by Too Darn Hot, out of Cashla Bay, who was sired by Fastnet Rock, trained, another one, by Ollie Sangster, ridden by Dylan Brown McMonigal, Racing Post rating 108. And then fourth, Good Effort, El Wateen, sired by Jubawi, out of a dam called Torquil, who herself was sired by Tiafilo, trained by Saeed bin Sarur and ridden by Jim Crowley. El Wateen running to a Racing Post rating of 107 on only her second start. So we only had the 2 running for us this race, 1-4. You know, 4 classics taken out. It's important, really. Like, I will emphasise this, just how difficult this is to do. We've taken a look at the first 4 classics, and you will see that all 4 of them have been taken out. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. Let me just get back to you a second. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Yeah, apologies for that. Quick phone call there. We can get cracking again now. You'll see there that we saw Albertine, 107. The ratings of this race, quite a bit below, really, what we'd expect from classic standard, it's fair to say. But all I can do is identify the best horses. Desert Flower from the dam line of Secretariat, unbeaten 2-year-old, and in she goes. Some people do make this look very, very easy, I must admit. Desert Flower. You'll see there that she actually ran to 115 when she won the Fillies Mile in last year, 2024. And she only ran to 105 when she won a Group 2. So these are average races that she's winning, it's fair to say. You know, you'd expect that to be a listed race rating, 115, not a Group 1 rating. At 2, there should be at least 120, you would think. But all we can do is keep on winning. And Desert Flower, I'm sure, will be a very promising filly to watch throughout the season. Albertine, on the other hand, what a performance. To go from a rating of 82 to a rating of 107 in only 2 starts is a fantastic improvement, it's fair to say. Owned from the Saeed bin Saror trained Shadwell-owned filly. And this is another one that you have to say has really excelled herself in this race. Very unlucky not to get a classic place on only her second start. I did say before the race, remember Gennati, all-weather maiden to classic victory. Not on the same dam line, but they've nearly done it, haven't they? Good performance it was, I think, from El Wateen to finish 4th. Right, what I'm going to do now is we're going to skip forward a week now, and we're going to stay in mainland Europe and head to France and take a look at the first 2 classics of the French classic season. I can't remember what order they were running now. Yes, I can. Sorry, the Colts went first. The French 2,000 guineas went first, and the fillies went after that. Both these races held at a track in Paris called Longchamp. So what we will do is we will take a look now at the French 2,000 guineas again. I thought I had a strong hand here. I had Henri Matisse, the Breeders' Cup winner. I had Camille Pissarro, the Lagardère winner. And we had Jonquil, who won the Group 3 Greenham Stakes at Newbury. One of the trials this year. So again, back to 3 horses in this race. And you can never be confident of anything in France because of the way the races are and the way things are. More of that in a bit. But I was as confident as I could be that we could make it 5 out of 5 in this video with these 3 horses, Henri Matisse, Jonquil and Camille Pissarro. So let's take a look at the race and we'll see what happened.
Long hole, but they're off. They get away, slow into stride was Zaraf, and also towards the back of the field is Thelenian as Dom Mukasan goes on very quickly with Misunderstood running in second, Serengeti in the purple up the running rail. Jonquil and Luther and also Reach the Sky in prominent positions, and Amori City behind these to the orange of Ukato, who's just ahead of Henri Matisse. They're well spread out already. Camille Pissarro is next, and then a very free-going Zaraf in the red and white who's around the outside of Radari, and Detain is behind this as they move down the side of the course, and then Hey Beckley is ahead of Sala, and there must be 25 lengths first to last. It's a very strong pace. So coming towards the full straight, and Serengeti in the purple. The gold cap is Misunderstood, and then Reach the Sky and Dos Mukasan in a pale jacket. A couple of lengths behind these to Jonquil, will turn into the home straight in 5th position. There's 3-4 lengths behind that to Luther. Amori City ridden along, then Hukato, then the dark blue of Henri Matisse, but they've already levelled up. Serengeti to on the left there, Reach the Sky in the yellow and green. Here's Jonquil with a pink cap. Henri Matisse making progress the far side. Luther, Dom Mukasan running on. Ridari in the green coming as well. Jonquil the pink cap. Henri Matisse in the dark jacket has come to pick it up. And Jonquil and Henri Matisse to Reach the Sky. Ridari. Here is Camille Pissarro on the outside. They run towards the line now. Jonquil and Henri Matisse. Henri Matisse to Jonquil, Ridari, Camille Pissarro, Luther, Detain and Reach the Sky. A very strong gallop set in this. It's a very close thing at the end, but it looks as if the dark blue of Henri Matisse and Ryan Moore have just got ahead of Jean Kill. Just nods at the right moment. Camille Pissarro on the outside, the blue and orange, is narrowly, I think, in third over Ridari, the green, and Luther, the yellow, and detained behind those to Reach the Sky.
Well, well, well. I mean, I don't like to go on, but this is an incredible achievement. We've looked at 5 classics in this video so far. That was the French 2000 Guineas. And this little website, classicwatch25.great/site.net, it's not the first incarnation of the site by any imagination. You know, I think it's the 4th or 5th, the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th. It's given 5 classic winners in succession, all for free. All you'd have to do is look at the horses before the race. That's all you would have to do, and you would have had all these winners. It's an absolutely incredible achievement from me. 325 at Longchamp, the French 2000 Guineas, won by Henri Matisse, sired by Wootton Bassett out of a dam called Immortal Verse. Finally, she gets her classic win. Classic Watch 25 has followed this filly a long time. We've had Tenebrism, we've had Statuette. You know, Henri Matisse has finally got in the classic winners enclosure. Trained by Aidan O'Brien and ridden by Ryan Moore, Henri Matisse run in to a racing post rating of 119, which is top class. I think if people look at the last 2 or 3 French Guineas, I think Metropolitan last year, well, what was he, 114, 115 or something, I think. A good renewal this year, I think. Good strong pace, as the commentator said. Second was Jonquil, sired by Lope de Vega out of Jovial, who herself was sired by Jibawi, trained by Andrew Baldwin and ridden by Oisin Murphy. Jonquil, a racing post rating of 117. And third was Camille Pissarro, another one, sired by Wootton Bassett out of a dam called Entreat, who herself was out of Pivotal, trained by Aidan O'Brien, ridden by Christophe Soumillon, running to a racing post rating of 115. Again, 1, 2, 3, forecast, tricast, cover the whole bases. 1, 2, 3 for Classic Watch 25 in the French 2000 Guineas. The only 3 horses selected, and they certainly did a fantastic job for me and for everybody else who looks at the site. It's not just for me. It's not a private site, this. People can find Classic Watch 25 anytime they like. Right, take a look at the 3 horses. Henri Matisse, well, an interesting horse. He's raced 8 times in his career. That was his best performance. Classic winning performance of 119. The horse ran to 117 when he won the Group 3 trial this year, where he hit the line hard. Over 7 furlongs. 114 when he beat Ironman Cal in the Breeders' Cup. And again, 116 when he beat Hot as Hell, who's the subsequent Racing Post Trophy winner in a Group 2 at the Cover. It's also a good horse. Very good horse, it's fair to say. He's winning or taking part in all the right races. And it was also 5th behind Lagardère, of course he was, in the Camille Pissarro race last year. So, yeah, very interesting horse, Henri Matisse. One of my favourites. Also, one of the first identified last year. You know, they do like to get them out early, the good ones, Coolmore. You'll see he's out in May. Not long now. Next Cover meeting, probably the Irish Guineas meeting. That's when the French Guineas winner was unleashed last year. Horse people are creatures of habit. Why am I mentioning this, you're asking? Well, horse people are creatures of habit. You know, they like to try and repeat things. Jonquil, the next one we need to take a look at. This horse has improved no end at 3. You'll see last year he couldn't rate above 93 when trained by Freemason Sir Michael Stout. Since then he's gone to Andrew Baldwin. I'm not sure he's a Freemason or not. Be unfair to level that allegation at him. Group 3 winner racing to 114. And then second in the French 2000 Guineas, running to a mark of 117, Jonquil. A horse very much headed in the right direction, approaching the middle distance classics this year. Camille Pissarro, the last one. Like I said, interesting horse. The Racing Post of him is improving. He ran to 113 when he won the Lagardère last year. beating Reshabar by a neck. You'll see they had in there after 6 starts at no better than 100 and beaten by Babouche in a Group 3. This year, the horse has been finished second behind Big Gossie in the alleged stakes, in the Gladness Stakes, sorry, and then third in the French 2000 Guineas. And they're his best 2 performances, 114 and 150. So although the horse is looking as though he is what he is, you have to say he is quite a high-ranking 2-year-old. He just needs to race all in court and all that, and then we'll see. People will see if he's a 120 rated horse or not. Camille Passaro. At this time, it's quite hard to tell. Yeah, 5 races, 5 wins in the video. And now we're going to take a look at the last classic of the video. We're staying in France, we're staying in Longchamp, and we're heading to the French 2000 Guineas. Only the 2 runners again this year for the fillies. I've not been impressed with any fillies, and the ratings really. Very few fillies. And the ratings have sold their own story, really, in the races. We had Better Together, the Judmont filly going for us, and we also had the Aga Khan filly, Zarigana, who, in my view, was the best 2-year-old in France, but she did somehow manage to lose the Prix Marcel Boussac. So again, with the Aga Khan filly, I always thought I did have a chance in this race of going 6 out of 6. So let's watch the French 1000 Guineas, and we will see what happens, shall we?
And that's it. There's 13 of them. A mile again, 1,600 metres. They're lined up. And off. They race away as they come out of the stalls. The white cap there, a bedtime story, drops towards the back of the field. Heaven's Gate towards the outside with the white jacket of She's Perfect to Mandanaba against the running rail. A pink cap behind these are Better Together, and that's followed through by Celestial Orbit, and then Zarigana with Merrily alongside her with a pink cap, and that's followed by the yellow jacket of Daylight, who's with Mimos in white. Bedtime Story, a white cap is next, and then Gouffran and Godspeed are the last couple of runners as they run down the side of the course, and She's Perfect sets the pace by around about a length. Heaven's Gate in second place, Mandanaba behind those, green and brown colours shows in third place, and then exactly with the purple cap. Maybe a length and a half off her, Better Together, a pink cap round the outside of Celestial Orbit against the rails and the white stripes on the dark sleeves. Daylight in yellow, Zarigana in green are the next pair, then Bedtime Story and Merrily who race together behind those Gouffran and Godspeed, and now the back marker is Nemos, as now Heaven's Gate tries to get to She's Perfect. Mandanaba towards the left picking up Zarigana beginning her challenge, exactly is still ahead of her, then Heaven's Gate, Mandanaba on the left leading, Zarigana on the right, between them She's Perfect, exactly in the purple is still there as well, wide apart now as they race towards the line, Zarigana and She's Perfect, these pair hit the line together, Mandanaba exactly behind those, then Better Together and Bedtime Story. Close again here, She's Perfect in the white has been up there the whole way. Zarigana had to try and come and get her. The question is, did she? And she might not have done. That's a very close photo again. Hidden from us in white colours is number 4, She's Perfect. Nearest to us, Zarigana. Mandanaba number 1 is behind those in third.
Well, what can you say? Very, very interesting finish there to the French 1000 Guineas. A utterly atrocious ride by the Aga Khan's retained jockey, Mikel Barcelona. He's seen that a few times this year. He was very lucky to beat the same horse, She's Perfect, in the trial. Even luckier to get the verdict in the steward's room, because the Aga Khan trained filly, Zarigana, has made it 6 out of 6 in this video. French jockey variants and French stewards variants in the same video. As Zarigana, sired by Siuni, out of Zarkamaya, sired by Frankel, has won the French 2000 Guineas, trained by Francois-Henri Graffard, and abysmally ridden by jockey Mikel Barcelona. Again, very poor racing post rating there of 113. Second on the day was She's Perfect, sired by Sioux Nation, out of a dam called Galeazza, who herself was sired by Galileo, trained by Charlie Fellows and ridden by Kieran Schumacher. Racing post rating of 111. And third on the day was filled by the Aga Khan filly, Mandanaba, sired by Gayaf out of Mandisha, who was out herself, out of Desert Style. Different sire, I might have chanced that one. Mandisha was a good filly. Mandanaba, another one trained by Francis Henry Graffard and ridden by Maxime Guillon, racing post rating of 109. The other horse we had, Better Together, sired by Oasis Dream out of a dam called Shared Account, who herself was sired by Dan Silly, trained by Andre Farb and ridden by Alexi Pouchan, owned and bred by Judd Monk, finishing 5th place, racing post rating of 108 for her. So that was a 1-5 in that race. My view on the race, that if Zaragana wasn't barred, she'd have won easily. People only need to look at the way the filly was finishing. But why even leave it to that level of variance? You know, why just not ride the horse lower to the pace and go a bit earlier, like he did in the first 2 races, and put everything out of question? No doubt at all that he was on the best filly, but it really was a truly atrocious ride on the day by Mikel Barcelona. He brought into the race variables that should never have been in the race. French jockey variants, French steward variants, they do their own thing. You know, if the Aga Khan goes to the French stewards and say, I want my filly to win, then 9.5 times out of 10, it will be very difficult to say no to the man. Just look in the history of the 2 places, France and the Ismailis of Aga Khan. You know, he holds a lot of sway in that part of the world, France. So it is what it is. You know, people need to respect that. And if they're going to beat his filly, they need to fight a boxer. You know, hometown decisions in boxing. They definitely exist in racing. But to me, if Barcelona had raced his filly properly, she'd have won by lengths. So everything else in between is just nonsense. Controlled opposition, nonsense. Zarigana, you'll see there, 4 wins, 5 runs. Her best career rating so far is only 113. Surely they will let her race horses that put that a long way behind. She only ran to 110 when second behind Vertical Blue in the Lagardère, and 108 when winning the Prix de la Grotte this year from She's Perfect. I mean, she needs to race She's Perfect again and put a few lengths between her, just to show everybody who the best horse is that still are dealt in it. But yeah, Zarigana, French Classic winner, and hopefully she will leave that rating a long way behind. The same really has to be said of Better Together. I mean, she's finished 5th in a Classic and only ran to 108, but according to the Racing Post, that was her best rating. They only rated her 106 when she won the Group 3 Pre-Imprudence at Deauville. So rating of 108, heading in the right direction, it's fair to say. Better Together, but I would like to see her put another 7 or 8 on her rating by the end of the season at least. But it'll be interesting to see how these 2 French fillies develop, I think, over the season. Right, I think I can end this video here. A truly incredible achievement by myself and my own little website, classicwatch25.great/site.net. 6 classics it's just shown you in this video, and it has won all 6 of them. My little website. So obviously a very satisfying outcome for this video. You know, support me on Patreon if you want. If you've done them, if you benefit from my knowledge, do the right thing. Do not freeload on my talent. You know, I do not like that. You know, if you, by all means listen to what I say and look at all my websites, but do the right thing. You know, don't just steal it all for free. Yeah, I don't like that. So basically, help yourself. Go and look at the sites, but do the right thing. That's all I'm asking of you. You know, it's trust, isn't it? It's a trust element. I have to trust you to use the site responsibly. And when you benefit from it, then you have to do the right thing, really. There should be really more ways. I really should put some sort of a Patreon widget on it and encourage people, really, because it's an incredible achievement. I don't know how many Classic winners out of these 6 the Racing Post picked, for instance. I don't read the controlled outlets. But I would be amazed if they've done as well as me, because I'm very good. That's why I started in 2019, because I knew I was. And it was my duty, really, to share what I know, because, you know, it's all about spreading the wealth. It's all about generating income these days, isn't it? As easy as you can. You know, look at these people that work in banks. They can just invent money out of thin air. Well, so can I. You know, it's not that difficult once you know how to do it. So basically, look at the site, classicwatch25.great/site.net at your own leisure. There'll be more horses added on this weekend. There's an Irish 1,000 and 2,000 guineas coming up this weekend, as well as the Japanese Oaks. What I will do is I will leave this video here now. Thank you very much to everybody for taking the time to learn yourself about these, how good this website is. You know, this video really is about just showing people, showcasing the talent. You know, the talent has always been there. Now it's just being demonstrated to the general public. So I think I can leave this video here now. What I'll do is I'll leave a copy to all the Classic Watch 25 horses, not the possibles, because there might be a few that don't run in classics on there. I'll link you to the Classic Watch 25 horses, so you can look at all the horses on the site. And I will also leave you an opportunity to subscribe to this video that has given you 6 classic winners. If you've not watched this, if you've watched this video for 51 minutes and not subscribed to it, then I don't know, shame on you really, because you're not doing the right thing, are you? You're learning the video, you're learning about the video, you're learning about the horses, but you're not paying your way, either by subscribing or doing whatever you deem appropriate. Got to do the right thing. Well, that's all this could stop, you know. But for now, I think I will leave this video here. Good luck coming up. Some interesting racing coming up. Not too much this week. With, like I said, the Irish 1,000, Irish 2,000 guineas this week. We had the Preakness last week, so the next classic review will start with the Preakness, and it will have at least 4 races on it: the Irish 2,000, the Irish 1,000, and the Japanese Derby. We might do 7 next time. We might get in the UK Derby and Oaks and the Japanese Derby as well. We'll see how it goes. But we've also got 2 races in Australia coming up in Queensland as well. We've got the Queensland Oaks and the Queensland Derby, I think, to finish the Australian racing. They're coming up soon as well this week and the next week, I think. But for now, I'm definitely certain the one thing, I am the best. We can leave this video here now. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic week. Look after yourselves and your loved ones. And more importantly, classicwatch25.great/site.net. If you use the site, do the right thing. Right, take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day and goodbye.